She got sick of the constant moaning and the drama, so she had to flee. And can you blame her? Can you really blame her? Because Doria Ragland has stayed massively loyal to Meghan. Some time that things aren't great between Meghan Markle and her own mother, Doria Ragland. She has been completely miserable in the last couple of public appearances that the fake Duchess forced on her. Meghan Markle howled, "Don't leave me," as her mother, Doria Ragland, moved out of her and her hen-pecked husband, Prince Harry's Montecito mansion, RadarOnline.com can reveal.
What if the most startling revelation about Archie and Lilith isn't their identity, but the place they were actually at?
Used her mom to care for her kids, and sources tell us even her own mother got so sick of her constant moaning and drama she had to flee the luxury home. Insiders say Ragland's departure has left Markle 43 and Prince Harry 40 struggling to adjust without.
It didn't start with leaked files, hidden recordings, or a tense showdown. Sources close to the situation say it began subtly with a whisper, so surprising it froze conversations instantly. Doria Ragland, Meghan's mother, reportedly leaned in during a private moment and asked a question no one there was ready for. What are Archie and Lilith really like? I've never truly seen them.
Or a lesson in gaslighting, or whether Meghan Markle has absolutely lost her mind. Or maybe it is the fact that she's able to get away over and over and over by flaunting her lies, most serious lies.
According to a former household employee, walking into the Montecito mansion never felt like entering a real family home. It felt orchestrated. She says she worked long 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week, navigating every room, hallway, and living area with a familiarity only earned through repetition. Yet, even after spending more time there than in her own apartment, she insists the house never felt alive.
A difficult patch, marked by professional setbacks and personal challenges. That's the understatement of the year. The tight-knit mother-daughter bond strengthened during this.
Everything was pristine to an almost unnatural level. Cushions were perfectly arranged. Surfaces weren't just clean, they looked untouched. Kitchens appeared set up for photo shoots, not cooking. Bedrooms felt styled rather than lived in. She says nothing was ever out of place because nothing was ever actually used, and there was no sign of daily routines or habits taking root.
Because maybe she says them over and over. She will convince herself and manage to convince idiots that still give her a platform that she didn't earn.
What disturbed her the most, she says, was the atmosphere. Homes with children have energy, noise, motion, and unpredictability. This one, she insists, was filled with silence, not the calming kind, but a heavy stillness that made you instinctively lower your voice. She would stop in rooms, expecting to hear something, anything, but all there was emptiness.
One insider close to the family told us Doria was a steady support for Harry and Meghan during a tough time. She provided them with much-needed emotional strength, but she has her own life and social code.
At first, she convinced herself she must be imagining it. Maybe the children were somewhere else. Maybe they were asleep. But days stretched into weeks and weeks into months, and nothing changed. The house stayed immaculate, silent, and oddly untouched. She says it never felt like a home where life happened. It felt like a place meant to be watched.
And the family, the royal family, the palace, is now finally willing to take action in the worst possible way for Meghan Markle. And talking about lies, I'm just going to show you a couple of things here. Because
children make themselves known without effort. Even the most well-behaved leave marks, small shoes left by the door, fingerprints on windows, crumbs pressed into carpets. The staffer says none of that was ever seen in the house. No toys scattered, no sippy cups on tables, no stuffed animals hidden in corners, absolutely nothing.
About the leading, she even pleaded, "Don't leave me," as she walked out the door with her suitcases. Harry also regarded Doria as a mother figure and both are fairly.
She says she listened for it, the unmistakable soundtrack of childhood. Laughter echoing through hallways, sudden cries in the night, footsteps when they should have been asleep. But she claims she never heard a single sound suggesting children actually lived there. The silence was constant, unbroken, and deeply unsettling.
Ready to concentrate on her own life, but remains a key part of the family. She plans to visit often, but won't be living with them full-time again. Our insider said the pair are totally lost, and Meghan must be thinking something is deeply...
Eventually, she says the absence became impossible to ignore. One afternoon, she quietly asked another staff member if they had ever seen the children. According to her, the woman didn't pause. She just shook her head and whispered, "Never." That single word, she says, hung in the air far longer than any explanation could have.
Massively loyal to Meghan. She drank the Kool-Aid for a period. She even was used as propaganda in the Netflix documentary series. But since then, like the rest of the world, she's seen how her daughter's life...
What made it even more unsettling, she claims, was the length of time involved. This wasn't after a week or two. It was after months of working from sunrise to sunset, opening doors, cleaning rooms, and moving freely throughout the house. If children were present, she says, they were completely invisible.
Doria has a track record of running off and disappearing for years at a time. Now, I'm not criticizing Doria for that.
Outside the gates, the world believed a different story, that Archie and Lilith were growing up happily, protected from the public eye. Inside, however, those who worked there say the same question kept coming up. Where were they?
Make your choices. However, I do believe that it was Doria's responsibility to ensure that Meghan didn't treat her father the way that she is now treating her. Angela Levin, our royal master.
According to insiders, Meghan's presence in the house felt sporadic and strangely staged. The staffer says Meghan didn't navigate the space like someone who lived there full-time. Instead, she appeared briefly, with intention, and almost always with someone by her side.
It's lovely to have grandchildren. So at the beginning of these relationships, they're lovely. Everybody's happy and the children are growing and all that. But if you start taking advantage of the mother, then things get bad because they do need to have a life.
There were assistants, associates, often Marcus Anderson, and sometimes full camera crews. The staffer claims Meghan was never alone, not even once. Her arrivals felt more like staged entrances than genuine homecomings. She moved quickly, spoke rapidly, and rarely seemed to settle into the space.
You can start disagreeing, one about, complaining when you've got this absolutely amazing home and so much that you can do, and you just get fed up with it. And she does.
What stood out most, the staffer says, was how differently Meghan acted when cameras were around. She seemed lively, warm, and engaged. But once filming ended, that energy reportedly disappeared. Smiles faded, conversations stopped, moments vanished. Staff began quietly remarking that she seemed more like a guest than a mother, someone overseeing a project rather than returning to family. Over time, her visits reportedly dropped from several days a week to just 1 or 2.
For Meghan and Harry's, she wouldn't have minded, and she didn't mind, to be very comforting to them. As I said, they both felt that they were, sort of both of their mothers.
To those observing, it didn't feel natural. It felt rehearsed. She reportedly followed the same paths repeatedly while camera angles were adjusted and conversations paused until the lighting was correct. According to one account, staff overheard discussions about getting the shot. The house, they claim, wasn't being lived in, it was being filmed in. And that distinction mattered, because real life is messy, unpredictable, and noisy. What they witnessed instead was controlled, polished, and temporary.
And you've got to sort of learn to stand on your own 2 feet. And she just got fed up, because if she just listens to these moans, and if actually the Meghan...
One evening, according to the staffer, shattered whatever illusion remained. The house was quiet as usual until raised voices pierced the silence, sharp, unmistakable, impossible to ignore. These weren't casual disagreements. They were intense, emotional, and heavy. She recognized Meghan's voice first. Tense, fast, edged with anger. Harry's voice, she says, was different. Not aggressive, not commanding. It sounded drained, pleading, like someone desperately trying to calm a situation already spinning out of control.
She wanted to do things. I think she was quite right not to say where she was going to watch a show.
As she moved closer, she says she saw Harry sitting with his head in his hands, his posture showing defeat rather than defiance. Meghan was pacing, and Marcus Anderson, according to her account, stood nearby trying to mediate.
Being sort of a grandiose human being and not accepting that she would like to do her own things. You know, if she still wants to do yoga, but she can't because...
When the argument ended, the house sank into a different kind of silence, cold and suffocating. The staffer says she instinctively brought Harry a glass of water. He accepted it quietly and whispered, "Thank you." That moment stayed with her, not for its drama, but because it felt revealing. Harry, once publicly confident and carefree, looked worn down, broken. According to her, it didn't feel like witnessing a single bad night. It felt like witnessing a pattern.
I said, "I'm going out, you'll have to be here." So it must have, over the time, got very, very annoying for her. And actually, I think there is a step of real kindness there when she says she's very pleased how...
After that evening, she says the atmosphere shifted. Smiles grew rare. Tension seemed to cling to the walls, and the sense that something was deeply wrong could no longer be ignored. When you're inside something like that, she says, you don't need proof. You just feel it.
And Harry, who actually has leaned on his mother-in-law to be helpful emotionally to him, but she's going, and I don't think that she thinks everything's...
The most troubling realization came gradually, not as a shocking revelation, but as a growing absence she could no longer ignore. She claims that during the months she worked inside the house, periods that reportedly overlapped with Meghan's pregnancies, she never once saw any physical signs that would normally accompany pregnancy. She observed Meghan up close, not from a distance or through edited photos, but in narrow hallways and everyday moments. According to her account, there was no visible baby bump, no gradual physical changes over time, no careful movements, and no signs of physical discomfort that staff typically notice when someone is expecting. She says Meghan moved freely, bent easily, and showed none of the subtle shifts that usually appear long before a pregnancy becomes public.
For her daughter.
Yeah, I mean, look, it can't be easy. We learned from those reports emanating from the Sussex Survivors Club earlier this week.
At first, the staffer doubted herself. Maybe the clothing hid everything. Maybe she simply hadn't been observant enough. But the doubt persisted, especially since she had previously worked around pregnant women and knew the signs. According to her, none of those signs were ever present here.